Good afternoon. Actually, good evening, everybody. Let me say happy Thursday. What a beautiful day it is. Again, this is DJ Straight. And by now, you know the routine. You know the routine. And guess what? I'm going to repeat the routine. I'm coming from Praise from the Closet. There we go. Email us at Gospel Music Lovers Buffet or call us on 202-322-2470. And I want to say something about putting your numbers out. I saw something online today on the news about putting out your numbers, but this is just the studio number. So, but be careful putting your personal number on social media because they said thieves were making it your number and going to your bank and all that kind of stuff. People are so clever. But anyway, also hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, which is pretty good. We have got, with the help of you all, we have got about, I want to say 145 videos. Whoo, that's a lot in this short time. But people are just so nice in allowing me to interview them or come on and share. And then it's always, I got to pump up this music station because I'm playing some good music. Really, I'm enjoying it when I come in here, or if I get on my phone or my tablet and I go to WGMLB and hit listen live. I'm playing good music. Timothy Wright was on Who's on the Lord's Side. Alvin Slaughter, Sacrifice of Praise. I'm telling you, you're not going to find another station that's playing this type of buffet music. Bacon is good and eggs is good at the buffet and all of that stuff. Nicole C. Mully called on Jesus, Byron Cakes. You're not going to hear anybody else doing this type of stuff. So anyway, today I am excited because we have a part 2 of our guest, our distinguished guest, Ms. Vivian Saulters. Now, the last time I did a little briefing of her bio, but this time I'm going to wait for her to come on because I want to recap some of those things that we talked about last time. So let me bring her on before I do the recap. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back again, part 2. When I was in the band and we went to New York, and there are signs all over New York City. Manhattan is where we went. It said, so nice, so nice. They named it twice. So I had to get me a little t-shirt. I like t-shirts. So therefore, I have a t-shirt that says, so nice, so nice. We named it twice. So nice, so nice. You had to come back twice. We had great reviews, rave reviews with your interview the last time. And a lot of the interviews that we have, people are coming back on. And so what I wanted to do, though, before I started talking, let me see if this is going to work, because I had some type of, we have a guest that wanted to do something right quick. So let me see if that's going to work. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. To you. Giving up is not an option. Happy birthday. Wow. Nobody else had Jennifer Hudson coming here, and I just think Jennifer is one of the baddest singers. So, wow, you is smart, you is kind, you is important, and you has had Jennifer Hudson to come and sing because you had a birthday on yesterday. All right. Happy birthday, Mrs. Vivian Saulters. So let me see if I can recap what we talked about last time. And I wanted to bring you back because there was a couple of things that I wanted to touch on, but one in particular. But I'm going to take this from memory because your name was BB or Genius, and that came from your pastor, Reverend Gardner. I played that because yesterday was your birthday, and you were born on a rainy day. I can't remember the name of the hospital, but it was DC General at one time. Your sisters, your older sisters, took care of you, and you couldn't wait because one of them didn't know how to plait, so they left the bowl there so you could shake your hair. You couldn't wait to go to school because your older siblings were at the dining room table and you wanted to know what they were working on. And some of them would say, beat it, get away, shove you off, and others would tell you. So you said, one day I'm going to go to school and you'll have homework to do. And then the other thing was the Easter program. You were so happy to get that 4 lines. Your aunt said, take it back. Tell them, give you a real poem. So you got a poem with 6 stanzas and 8 lines, and you learn those. You see, you share it with your doll babies. Miss Collins allowed you to tutor her as well as the students in the 3rd and the 4th grade. You did the self-improvement club, and that club brought some great experiences. You went to the home of Robert and Ethel Kennedy, and you had some tea. You also rode into the shiny black limousine that your aunt rented for you. And I believe your favorite teacher's name was Mrs. Johnson. You also picked up got a banana from a strange man. And your mother wanted to know where you got that from, but you said God was in control. So you did some pennies. You sold some things. At the age of 4, you had always had the desire to be a teacher. You won so many awards, and your name is forever on the building. I believe it's at the National Cryptologic School. I think that's right. Um, that's correct. Okay. And it's just, I'm just going to do like this. It's just so many things that you accomplished. Oh, don't sing again, Jennifer. My fault. I hit that thing. But what I wanted to bring you back on was to, oh, and my apologies to those that are listening. I sent this message out, but apparently some of you all are not getting my Facebook post, and I apologize for that. We'll try to do better because we have a new show, a teaching series coming on tomorrow at 8:30, which is going to be pretty good. It's a 4-part series. And then on Friday, we've got another great event coming up with Mothers Against wow, Lynn, you should have had this together. It's called Moms of Black Boys United, and we're going to have some guests on from DC and other places, the District of Columbia chapter. That is going to be good. I want you all to support that at 7 o'clock on Friday. But today we bring you back on part 2 because when you were talking about your schooling, you went to Spain and you had that was a very good experience for you. But we talked specifically about graduate school. And I mentioned to you about a recent incident where I thought I had experienced racism. And then by the time you and I kind of hashed it out, we realized that it wasn't racial. So let's talk about your grad school information. Is this something that you wanted to say?
Well, I had said that I had not, I had studied and learned about racism, segregation,
Mm-hmm.
etc. as a child growing up and going through school, but I had never knowingly experienced it until I got to grad school. And what happened was, it, I say it was racism. It could, perhaps it wasn't. Maybe it was just plain stupidity.
It was probably racism. Go ahead. It's probably.
I was taking a class. It was a class of 3 people, and the chairman of the department was teaching the class. One of the 2 ladies and a gentleman. The gentleman was Brazilian. He was from Brazil, but he was here studying. The girl was of, I'm thinking Slavic origin, but she was born and raised here. U.S. citizen. But she used to be the babysitter for the instructor some years ago. And we would go to class and I would read whatever it was. Now, this was a medieval literature class in Spanish.
Oh,
The textbooks were in Spanish, the lessons were supposed to have been in Spanish. But then it always changed to English because the professor would end up chatting with his former babysitter. So we never really did anything in class. Of course, I'm the only Black um, in the whole program, the Spanish graduate program. And there weren't many Blacks at the school.
did you feel
So,
secure as just being the only Black? Were you secure in who you were?
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I had grown up to be that. Um, I might not have had as strong aspirations as I did, as I got to each step. But once I got to each step, it was like, yeah, I can handle this as maybe a little cockier than I should have been, but that never bore itself out. But anyway, we had no test, no grades in the class. And the final exam wasn't until after winter break, which was over the Christmas holidays. So I spent my Christmas holiday at the Library of Congress studying. Boy, I had to do well
Yeah.
because I was representing not only myself, but my race. And I felt like if I didn't do well, it would be a bad reflection on my race. So I spent just about my entire Christmas break at the Library of Congress studying, taking notes, learning names, learning events, etc. We get back to school to take the final exam, which was a real joke. There were 5 questions for the final exam. We had to choose 3 to answer. And then there were 3 extra credit questions. I answered extensively, citing from memory works and authors to support what I was saying. And I did the extra credit questions. Same thing, no biggie. Well, we get our grades, and I think I must have gotten a B plus. And so I went to the professor's office and I said, now I knew that Anna had gotten an A because we talked all the time. And, but she had told me prior to receiving the grades that she thought it was a hard test. And she just answered the 3 questions and not extensively. Um, I don't know what Cecilia did. So I went to the professor's office and he happened to be in. And I said, I don't understand where I went wrong in the class. And he said, oh, you didn't go wrong. You did a great job. I said, well, my grade doesn't reflect that. Um, can you show me my exam and explain to me how I could have done better? And he said, oh, you did an excellent job. What did you get? A B? And whatever it was, I, said what I got. And I had my paper um, with me. No, I didn't have my paper. So I insisted that I wanted to see my paper. I said, "You're the chairperson of the department. I'm going to have to go through you again.
Hmm.
So I want to know what I need to do because I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be the best I can be. And if this is the best I can be, so be it. But at least I need to know how I might have done better to give me the opportunity in the future." So he said, "Oh, well, I left the papers at home. I don't have your test papers." And the secretary was in there while we were talking, and she said, "Oh no, they're here. I found them this
Uh-oh.
morning."
Uh-oh. Exposed.
So she went and got my test paper. I mean, it was a book, like several of those little blue books they use, several of those. And I looked through them. There was not a single mark anywhere in any of the books. I said, "Well, you didn't mark anything wrong. You didn't make any suggestions on the paper. I still don't know how I did and how I can do better." And so he wanted to insist that it was a good grade. I said, "Well, yes, it is a good grade for somebody else, but it's not enough for me. And so I need to know how I can make it better." Well, he insisted he wasn't going to do it. So I said, "Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. This is my first semester here, first quarter here. Um, you're the chair of the department. I'm going to have to go through you again, but this won't happen again." So I went home and I looked through the catalog and I found um, a program that had it was a Master of Arts for Teachers.
Okay.
And so I said, "Well, I can do this in a year." And I went to him the next day and I told him I wanted to change my major to this program. And he said, "Oh, you can't do that." And I said, "Why not? It's in my catalog." And he said, "Well, we don't have that program anymore." I said, "Well, you better get it because this is a catalog you brought me in under, and I can change my major, and I want to change my major." So we argued about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You can keep talking. We were having a little technical issues. You wanted to change your major.
Yeah, I was going to change my major. So I said, "If you can't handle it, then I'll go to the dean and see what he can do about it." So anyway, it was settled. They didn't really offer the program anymore, but it was still in the catalog. And I said, I'm a teacher. I came to you from a teaching position.
Okay.
I'm certified. Um, I can teach anywhere and I can teach 4 subjects. And Spanish was my major in undergrad school. So this is what I want. So he said, um, "Well, it'll probably take you longer." I said, "No, I'm going to do this in a year." So that's how I went to Mexico. Um, I took all the courses I could take there in a year, and I was missing like 3 credits or something like that. So I found a program that was acceptable at the
Mm-hmm.
school in Mexico. So I applied for that program in Mexico, and that's why I went to study in Mexico. Didn't really have money, but I had an assistantship at that school, so I saved that, and I also had room and board. So I saved the money that I did make from the assistantship, and that took me to Mexico. Now, the secretary had been to Mexico the summer before. She had gone on a cruise, and she liked the guy who was in charge of the cruise so much. I didn't know this when I went,
Okay.
but she wrote to him or called to him or something and told him to take care of me. God's working.
Wow, that's amazing. Because that's
But
wow.
the only thing he did was take me on the cruise, allow me to go on his cruise ship with everybody else, but I didn't have to pay for it. He said, the secretary had taken care of it. But that's how I first studied in Mexico.
So did you ever go back to that professor who hadn't looked at the paperwork, but he only tried to give you a B, and you didn't stand for that? Did you ever go back and confront him on anything?
Well, I confronted him about that paper, but I never took another course from him.
Did you turn him in? Did you report him?
Yeah, I talked to the dean. We talked to the dean about it. And that's the way I think that I got into the new program,
So do you believe
because it
that
was
the dean did their job by assisting you?
right, right.
That's good. Now, when you went to the Library of Congress to study, was that an open library at the time, or was okay? So it wasn't, blacks could come in this way and whites could go in that way. It was a
Oh, no.
okay.
No, I never went through anything like that.
Oh, okay. Because you were so you in other words, you held your ground, and in your biography, as we talked before, you had always given scriptures and things. But I like what you said, because you wasn't going to settle for just that B. Because I remember one time a supervisor gave me a fully successful for my rating. She said, well, it's just a fully successful. Well, just a fully successful is not good enough for me, because you don't want just a fully successful. So of course I battled with her on that part because it wasn't fair. But for you to stand your ground then, and then to see that it paid off being successful, in that aspect. After that encounter, did you recognize anything else, or were you able to like help other people who may have experienced negligence? Let's call it negligence from the other professors or anybody, or give them counsel.
No, I didn't have that opportunity. Now, I'll tell you what happened. When I first went to that school, I went to the undergraduate dorm because they had some undergraduates from the main place was Newport News, and there was one girl from Manchester, New Hampshire. And they were all in what was called the Black Dorm. And probably by choice, I don't know. But I said I wanted to go to the Black Dorm. And the
Mhm.
reason I did that was because I figured that the opportunity for me to help others would be there. And I wanted them to be successful. So if they, and remember, these are undergraduates, so they're taking, the basic courses before you get into your major or minor. Um, so I went to the undergraduate dorm. Well, instead of my helping them, they wanted me to do their work. I
Oh,
said,
wow.
no, I'm not going to do your work, but I will tutor you. I will help you to understand. Um, so after that, I moved to the graduate dorm. It wasn't a dorm. I moved to graduate housing, so we had our own apartments or whatever.
So you never really had any issues when it came to interacting with other ethnic groups, like Well, I know you did the Spanish, but like Chinese or Africans or other ethnic groups, you never had any problems with them when you got in
Mm-mm.
the group, did you?
No, to this day, the people who give me the most trouble are blacks. I hate to say, yeah, and probably Christian blacks.
That's a whole nother subject. Cause see, I can write the volume books on that one. We gonna time out on that one because no, you preaching to the choir. Whoo, don't make me take off DJ Stray's shirt and turn into Lynn, because that's a whole nother subject. But it's so interesting that that happened. But again, that's why I asked you, because by you as coming up as a child, you weren't the oldest, you weren't the youngest, you were kind of like in the middle. And so at that point, you kind of had to get some muscles because you may not have always had your siblings around you, especially when you went to when you did certain things. Because I almost thought you were going to say when the man didn't give you the right grade and you went back to him. I almost thought you were going to say you went home and some of your family came with you. That's why I was really bracing. I was like, hold on here, because he was going to be in trouble. Because one of the comments said that one of the comments when you were talking said, "We know it wasn't going down like that." So that was one of the reasons why I thought about that. But I thought it was good. And I know even when you got married, I had the privilege of coming to your wedding. It looked like what you call it, the all nations, because you had so many different ethnic groups that were represented on there. So with all of that being said, when you visit the various countries, have you tried all of those different types of foods? And here's another comment:
Say that again. When
when
I
you have gone to the various countries and tried the food, were you able to have any type of experiences in that? The people tell you, "Oh, eat this, don't eat this. This is not good for you. This will be good for you." You were just open.
um on my first trip abroad, when I got the scholarship to Spain, we talked about that last week. My first meal there was paella. That I went to study in Valencia, and the national dish is paella, so it was really a treat. But it has shrimp in it and other seafood and rice and chicken and whatnot. So the plate was garnished with shrimp on top, but it was the whole shrimp with the
Oh,
head and the tail. So that was a big shock. I didn't bother with that. I pushed the shrimp aside. The rice and everything was good.
oh, okay, that's good. I have a question coming up. I'm laughing because when I used to teach music, I used to go to the children's houses, and I always had a good rapport with my children's parents, and they would love to fix me dinner. And I had one Chinese family. They were so sweet. The grandmother, she always cooked. And one day she gave me some beans and rice, and she said, sit down with us. And normally I didn't do it, but I opened that bad boy and there was chicken feet in there. I said, "Ma'am, I can't eat this." But I can't eat that. But they were so sweet. Okay, I have a question for you. How well how well were you received as a professor? That was the first question. And once you answer that, then I have another question for you as well. And let me say to the folks, you guys missed it. Yesterday was her birthday, and I played a special birthday song for her. So I may do it again for the latecomers. But yes, how well were you received as a professor?
I never, ever, ever had any problems with any of my colleagues. And I had only one problem, maybe one and a half. When I went to student teach, did my student teaching in junior high school. And I graduated, of course, from a teacher's college. And they prepared you to be professional. Not only were you expected to be able to teach your major and minor, everybody was supposed to be able to teach English because that's our language. Well, anyway, when I first went to my junior high school for student teaching, I was going to student teach in my major and minor. And first day was fine. The second day, my math teacher got there late. Well, I wasn't, as the new student teacher, I wasn't going to sit in the class and let the class run wild,
That's right.
because then when my turn came, they wouldn't respect me because, well, you took it then, take it now. So I went, to the front of the class and I got them in order. They knew who I was, but, I reminded them um, that I was a cooperating teacher, and um, eventually I would be in the front
In
leading the
front of
class,
them.
et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So I ended up teaching math because this was my well, teaching math, English, and Spanish. The teacher who got there late taught Spanish and English. So this was an English class. I think it was an English class. And I went to the front of the class and, got the children in order, students in order. They were children. But anyway, got them in order and started to conduct the class. I had been there before, so I knew, what they were studying. And just off the top of my head, we started going at it. Well, it got so that the teacher, my cooperating teacher, would come in late and sit at the back of the class waiting for me to teach. And
Wow.
it wasn't I was supposed to observe before teaching, but she didn't do that. She would come in, go to the back of the room and sit down and, wait for me. So again, I wasn't going to just sit in class. So I would go ahead and teach. There was one girl, um, Marsha.
Put your name straight, man.
No, not you. You wouldn't have done this.
Oh, okay.
But really, she saw too much of me. I think she saw me for math, Spanish, and English. And she probably saw too much. Well, she came to my math class from gym, so she would keep her gym shorts on. Um, she'd have her rather short skirt on over her gym shorts, sit in the back of the class. And maybe this was just the way she sat, but she sat with her legs open.
Disrespect.
Now, boys in the junior high school class, what are they going to do?
They're
They're
gonna
going to
look.
look and they're going to whisper and
Disrespect.
laugh and giggle. So I had given them an assignment. They were working individually. And I always went from desk to desk, looking over the student's shoulder. If they were going wrong, I'd, ask questions to lead them back in the right direction. So I did that and moseyed on down to Marcia. And I call myself doing it so that it wouldn't call attention to Marcia. Marcia was smart as a whip.
Oh, okay.
And I leaned over to Marcia and I said, softly, Marcia, close your legs. The boys are looking up your skirt. And she, in a very loud, raucous tone, you ain't got nothing to do with me. You teach me math, and that's it. You ain't got nothing to do with the way I sit. And so
Oh,
a little louder, I said, Marcia, I came back here inconspicuously to speak to you softly. I didn't call you out from the front of the class. And I said, and you're not going to do that to me. However, let me correct you.
uh-oh.
When I'm in front, this is my class. And if you want to be in my class, you're going to conduct yourself like a lady. No, I'm not here to teach you just math. In the other classes, I'm not there to teach you just Spanish or just English. When you come to my class, you are mine, you belong to me, and
Right.
I'm responsible for you. Any behavior that's unacceptable will not be acceptable in my classroom. Now, if you don't like that, you can get out of the class.
You done told her.
Principal. Huh?
I said, you done told her.
So she continued to loud talk.
Wow.
And so the students were turning around, looking. I said, Marcia, get your books and go to the principal's office. My cooperating teacher, my math teacher, was in the corner of the room. He was at the front of the room, and I had been at the front. Excuse me. And so he stayed there and let me handle the situation. But when I told her to get her books together and go see the principal, she got her books together. And I walked to the door, to make sure she went out. Well, she brushed up against my shoulder.
Oh,
And I slammed the door on
oh,
her. Mr. Messman, Mr. Messman came over like he was going to say something. I said, don't you say a word.
uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And he turned around and he went back. Well, if he was going to say something, he should have said something before.
Right.
But that wasn't the time. So he turned around and he went back over to where he was standing. That's the only student. That was when I was starting out student teaching, who ever gave me a problem. Now, there was another guy
You got
at
to
the
do it loud.
agents.
When you have something in your throat, you got to go, you got to
No,
clean it
you
out.
know what? I can't talk long.
Okay. Okay. I have one
But
last
let me
question
finish.
for you.
Let me finish this.
Go.
There
You,
was one other guy. All of my students,
you got it, ma'am.
all of my students at the agency were very smart, or at least reasonably so, or they wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have been in the language program. Now, I did have some students who cross-trained from like the clerical field or some other field who wanted to get into languages.
Okay.
So we, started a class for those people. But for the most part, I mean, my first class, I had 5 top-notch linguists who
Wow.
spoke a minimum of 3 languages. And this was not cognate languages, but languages like Slavic, like Russian. Um, there was a German speaker in there. I don't remember the languages, but they were distant languages, and these were American students. So English was their first language. I mean, their native language. Um, and most of our writing was journalistic. It,
Okay.
it was like translating, but then we had to put it in the past tense. You didn't want your translation to look like or sound like a translation. And it was to be given to politicians or whomever. And much of it goes into the newspapers. So we followed the guidelines for journalistic reporting. And I had this student who was brilliant, really brilliant. And I can't think right now of what it was that he said, but and I corrected him and on his paper and then explained to him later why. And he said, well, this is the way I say it, and I'm not changing it.
Uh-oh.
I said, fine. I said, I told you what it should be. You don't have to change it. But each time you do it, I'm going to deduct 2 points from you. And so, he continued to do it. I continued to deduct 2 points each time because it was what we called a lexical error. Not even really that stylistic, but that was the only other problem I had, and that wasn't a real problem. He accepted his minus 2 points, and I gave him his minus 2 points, and that was it.
Too,
Those are the only problems I've ever had.
too bad he wasn't using Cape Arabian. Let's see.
Well,
Hold
she's not journalistic. She's
on.
academic, and her stuff is lifted anyway from the Chicago Manual of Style.
Okay, well, you know, I said that. All right, so it sounds like somebody wants to give you a trip. It says, don't you want to go back to Spain and live in Barcelona?
My children are trying to get me to go to Barcelona for 6 months to a year. They want to go. They want to go.
Oh, that your children want to go over there and live with you over there for a year?
Right. They want to go, so they want me to go. I don't know. I think maybe they think I'm not old enough to stay by myself.
Well, if you all want to do it together as a family, that's good, but not by yourself.
My grandson is in school.
He can transfer because I believe Nanida has been teaching him Spanish. So I think your grandson will be just fine. Here's another comment that said, yes, you did the right thing. You have to take control of the class at the beginning of the semester. The students need to know who is commanding the room.
Amen.
And then another comment said, Miss Marsha didn't know who she was dealing with, did she? Not. But this has been great. And as I told you, I didn't want to hold you like, somebody said gangster. What is? Oh, okay, homeschool something. Homeschool in Spain. Yeah, that's a great opportunity. Okay. It sounds as if these people know you. LOL. What is LOL? But anyway. Thank you again for coming back on. And for the people that were late, because it's my fault again, I'm sorry you all are getting the messages. Tomorrow we have a teaching series at 8:30 at Friday. We have another show at 7. But I wanted to play this because, and this is going to be a repeat, because yesterday, went out. Wait, we have one more comment. We have another comment coming in. LL is laugh out loud. Okay. Okay. You have your own fan club, and that's okay. All right. I want to play this again for you because some of the people missed it when we came on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday adoption. Happy birthday.
Okay, so nobody said give it up.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome. So let's see, folks. We're going to close out because we didn't want to stay long. And Abbott Elementary comes on at 9 o'clock. That's a funny show. I'm just gonna be real. Let's see. Okay. Here it is. Okay, Merchants is saying, "Yep, I missed the beginning." Now you're getting some birthday things in. Happy birthday, and
Thank you all.
you will be back on the 24th at 6 o'clock for another show. It's called the Middle Child Show. You will be back, and some of these other folk will be back, and that's going to be a great show. So I again thank you for coming back on twice again. And y'all know I'm in the closet. I'm getting congested. It's burning up in here. Let me turn on my little fan. But it's been great for you to share your story with us again. And thank you for coming back. And for those that are coming on, listen, we have so many different shows that everybody can participate on. You can go to our website. That's our email address, Gospel Music Lovers Buffet. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can go to our website. We've got shows for everybody, no matter what you are, what you do, you can share, because we like to have fun on this show while we spread the love of Jesus, Mary's baby that was born of a virgin, wrapped in swaddling clothes. Oh, wait a minute, that's Christmas. Okay, that was buried in a tomb and rose on the third day, but we're going to stop playing. All right, thank you. Thank you, Vivian Saulters, for coming back again and just spending time with us on a Tuesday night. And are there any parting words that you would like to say before we leave?
Well, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for giving me a break, not making it as difficult as you could, making it straight up, Lynn. And thanks to everybody who came to listen and interact with me.
And
Appreciate
support.
it.
Very
Thanks for
good.
the birthday wishes.
Yes.
And the encouraging remarks.
Yes. Because Marsha just didn't know who she was messing with. And neither did Mr. Mess Man or that other boy. But anyway, all right, thank you. All right, folks. This is DJ Straight signing off from Praise from the Closet. But all seriousness, we have some great shows coming up, and you all can participate in 1 Hour Loud. We had our debut show on our YouTube channel. What do you think? Because it would be great if you all could email some topics that we can discuss. That whole show is impromptu. You think on the spot. It was a lot of fun. It's called What Do You Think? Our next one is coming up in May, but I would love for some of you all to participate on that. The Middle Child is coming up. We're working on some more of my siblings and me. If you want to share your career or a hobby that you have, you're more than welcome to. We are so open to just giving people exposure opportunities. If you have a business, you will get one time to advertise your business, and after that, I might have to start charging you because you might start making some money. So, but anyway, really, and check out our Tasha Page Lockhart Different was on. Four Kings and Country with Dolly Parton. God only knows. I bet no other station has that song on. Alex Bradford and the Bradford Specials, Too Close, WGMLB.com. By now you all can say it. But anyway, thank you all. Have a wonderful night. It's 8:50. Abbott comes on at 9 o'clock. I got to go see that show.